الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونتوب إليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما. So, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
First of all, I apologize for last week, for missing last week. But I think the week before I told you that there was a possibility that I was not going to be able to make it. So I'm sorry about that. Inshallah, we'll catch up. So this is, now the numbers going beyond me. This is the 10th session or the 9th?
I think the 10th.
10th session, mashallah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala increase us in beneficial knowledge. So we studied the chapter which was the second chapter after Ahkamul Nun Sakinati wa Tanween. We studied the chapter of Ahkamul Mim Sakina, which means when I see a meme that has a sukun in the Quran, just like when I saw a nun that has a sukun and tanween, there are specific rules that I have to pay attention to. So I just don't see a nun that has a sukun and then say that I'll read it just like the Arabs would read it if it were not in the Quran. And I would not do the same thing with tanween. So we learned 4 rules of an-nun sakina and tanween. And then we started talking about the rules that pertain to al-mim sakina. So what it means is that when I see a meme that has a sukun in the Quran, I have to take a step back and ask myself, which of the 3 rules that we learn, or which of the we'll learn the 3rd one today, which of the 3 rules do I apply on this specific example that I made in the Quran? So that's the idea. And it's the same structure as we saw in Ahkamun Nun Sakinati wa Tanween, in the sense that it has to do with the following. When I see a meme that has a sukun, what I do is immediately I look at the letter that follows it. And the letter that follows it tells me the rule that I apply. Does that make sense? That's what we did with Ahkamun Nun Sakinati wa Tanween. So the Sheikh told us that there were 3 rules of Al-Mim Sakina. The first one was Al-Ikhfa'u Shafawi. The second one was Idghamul Mutamathilain As-Saghir. And the 3rd one is Al-Izharu Shafawi. So we looked and we learned about Al-Ikhfa'u Shafawi. When do we have Al-Ikhfa'u Shafawi? When we have meme that has a sukun followed by a
Ba.
ba. So it has 1 letter, right? So when we have a meme and it has a sukun and it's followed by a ba, so there we do Al-Ikhfa'u Shafawi. So meaning that we... Is everything okay? So meaning that what we do is we apply Al-Ikhfa'u Shafawi. So the meme does not completely come out, and the fact that it does not completely come out, and the fact that the meme comes from the lips, gives us the adjective ash-shafawi. So for instance, if we see, who can give me an example? Who can remember an example that we did of al-ikhfa ash-shafawi?
لا ينبذن في الحطمة. كلا لا ينبذن في الحطمة.
That's not a meme sakina, is it?
Oh,
That's
yeah.
a nun sakina, right? Excellent. So tarmihim ends with a mim that has a sukun. Bihijara starts with a ba. So I say tarmihim. And here we have a gunna, right? We spend time. So that was al-ikhfa al-shafi'i. So 1 letter, al-ba. And then we learn idghamul mutamathilain as-saghir. So idghamul mutamathilain as-saghir has also 1 letter. And that letter is al-mim, right? So when I have a mim that has a sukun and it's followed by a mim that does not have a sukun, there we have idghamul mutamathilain as-saghir, right? Like what? At'amahum min ju'. At'amahum ends with a mim that has a sukun. Mim starts with a mim, so at'amahum min ju' wa amanahum. The same thing. وَكَمْ مِنْ مَلَكٍ فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ. وَكَمْ ends with a mim that has a sukun. and min starts with a mim. So those were the two rules that we learned. So today we'll learn the third rule. And the third rule, as he told us at the very beginning, is called al-ilharu shafawi. So now we have three rules, right? We have al-ikhfa'u shafawi, we have idgham al-mutamathilayn as-saghir, and al-ikhfa'u shafawi. Now let's do the math. Al-ikhfa'u shafawi has how many letters? One. And then idgham al-mutamathilayn as-saghir has how many letters? One. So how many letters are left? 26 of the alphabet, right?
Yes.
So naturally, then I know right away that the 26 letters, which rule will we apply? Al-ilharu shafawi. Remember the last session when we were reviewing, we were saying that's for tomorrow, right? For tomorrow. So now, alhamdulillah, Allah has given us lives and healthy lives to witness tomorrow. So we'll see that. So al-ilharu shafawi. So that's our third rule. So here's the title. It hasn't changed, because we're still talking about the chapter of Ahkamul Mim Sakina. So the rules of mim that has a sukun. So when I see a mim that has a sukun, what is the rule that I apply? If it is followed by a ba, I know that I apply al-ikhfa'u shafawi. If it is followed by a mim, another mim, that does not have a sukun, I know that I apply idghamul mutamathilayn as-saghir. So today we learn al-ilharu shafawi. So this is al-hukm al-thalith. So this is the third rule. And then he says, وَلَهُ بَقِيَّةُ الْحُرُوفِ الْهِجَائِيَّةِ. And naturally, this rule has the rest of the letters of the alphabet, the Arabic alphabet. But when? بعد أخذ الباء للإخفاء الشفوي. After we take ba for the إخفاء الشفوي, that you and I know, والميم, and we take mim لإدغام المتماثلين الصغير, for the rule of إدغام المتماثلين الصغير. So what he's telling us, if you take the Arabic alphabet, and you take ba is the letter for al-ikhfa al-shafawi, right? And then you take mim is for idgham al-mutamathilayn as-saghir. Everything else that remains is for al-ikhfa al-shafawi. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So we take ba, give it to al-ikhfa al-shafawi, which we did, right? And then we take mim, we give it idgham al-mutamathilayn as-saghir. So everything that is left now is for al-ilhar al-shafawi. So that's easy, right? Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So now he tells us, ما حكم الميم الساكنة عند أحرف الإظهار الشفوي. So what is the rule? When you have a mim that has a sukun, it's followed by one of the letters of al-ilhar al-shafawi. So one of the 26 letters. So you have a mim that has a sukun, let's say followed by a hamza. You have a mim that has a sukun, followed by a waw. You have a mim that has a sukun, followed by a ta. So what is the ruling? So we say, وُجُوبُ الْإِظْهَارِ مِنْ غَيْرِ غُنَّةٍ. It is an obligation to do al-ilhar. We learned al-ilhar. When did we learn al-ilhar? Ahkamun nun is-sakina. Remember, the first rule we learned was al-ilhar, right? Al-ilhar, and he told us lughatan is al-bayan. And then istilahan ikhraju kulli harfin min makhrajihi bighayri ghunna. So al-ilhar means to read it naturally. So he says wujub al-ilhar min ghayri ghunna. So here we read the letter when it follows any of these letters, the 26 letters. When they follow the mim that has a sukun, the way we read it is we read it naturally, without any ghunna. Right? And we'll see examples of that. Does that make sense? So in al-ikhfa al-shafawi, what we did was we left a little bit of a space between our lips, and we had ghunna, right? In idgham al-mutamathilayn as-saghir, we had ghunna, did we not? Right? Sorry. But in al-ilhar al-shafawi, there is no ghunna. We just read it naturally. That's easy, huh? Is it not? And thank God, it's the 26 letters, so we don't have to worry. So we just need to remember ba for al-ikhfa al-shafawi, and remember mim for idgham al-mutamathilayn as-saghir. And then the rest of the letters, we'll see in a second something special that we need to do with 2 letters. But suffice it to say that when you have a mim that has a sukun, and it's followed by one of these 26 letters, then we do, by obligation, al-ilhar, we read it naturally, right? Min ghayri ghunna, there is no ghunna that we do. So that's why he tells us فَتُظْهَرُ الْمِيمُ السَّاكِنَةِ. So al-mim الساكنة إذا وقع بعدها حرف من الحروف الستة والعشرين. When you have a meme that has a sukun and it is followed by one of the 26 letters of al-ilhar al-shafawi, so that meme we read it naturally. So naturally, just like the Arabs would read it, right? So that's what we do. But there is something that we need to pay attention to. مع مراعاة شدة إظهار الميم الساكنة عند الواو والفاء. He says now we have to observe something. In these 26 letters, there are 2 letters where we actually have to do the izhar more than the rest of the letters. And those 2 letters are waw and fa. So what he's saying is that all of the 26 letters, what we do izhar. But if you have a meme that has a sukun, and it is followed by a waw, or it is followed by a fa, here we have to do the ilhar in a much more intense way. So it's different from the rest of the 26 letters, and we'll see examples. But why do we do that? Why is it that when I have a meme that has a sukun, and it's followed by a waw and a fa, I have to do the ilhar better? It has to come out much clearer than the rest of the letters. He says the reason is لِاتِّحَادِهَا. It's because the meme has the same makhraj. لِاتِّحَادِهَا فِي الْمَخْرَجِ مَعَ الْوَاوِ. Because the meme has the same exit as the waw. Say ma. Let's say ma. Ma. Let's say wa. Where is it coming from? Both of them, what are they coming from? Ma. Where is ma coming from?
Both lips.
Both lips. What? Both lips, right? So he says the reason why we have to pay attention and make sure that we say the meme completely is when it's followed by a waw. It's because meme and waw have the same exit. And you can see, we'll see in a second. وَقُرْبِهَا فِيهِ مَعَ الْفَاءِ. And when it comes to fa, it's because the exit of meme is close to that of fa. Let's say ma. Let's say fa. So where is fa coming from?
From the bottom.
Let's say fa. Where is it coming from?
bottom
So-
teeth with the upper, the bottom lip
Bottom lip and
with upper teeth.
upper teeth. So is it close to ma? What do they share in common?
The lower lip.
The lower lip, right? So now what you're trying to do is you don't want to start when you have a meme that is followed by a wow or a fa. The idea is you don't want to start the wow before finishing the meme. It's very easy, right? They come from the same place. So it's very easy for me. Before the meme is over, I start, and as we'll see examples inshallah. And it is very easy for me as well. Before starting the fa, before finishing the meme, to start the fa. So that's the reason why we absolutely, Jazakumullah khairan. That is the reason why we absolutely have to be careful when we have a meme that has a sukoon and it is followed by either a waw or a fa. We'll see the examples. Let's see examples and then we'll come back and it is all going to be clear. So here's an example. So we have a meme that has a sukoon and it's followed by a sin. Is sin the letter of al-ikhfa al-shafawi? Is it? Is sin
No.
the letter of al-ikhfa al-shafawi?
No.
What is the letter of al-ikhfa al-shafawi?
Ba. Ba.
Al-ba, right? Is sin the letter of idgham al-mutamathilain as-saghir?
No.
No, so sin is one of the letters of
Al-idhar al-shafi.
al-ilhar. So here, فَسُبْحَانَ اللَّهِ حِينَ تُمْسُونَ. So you just read it. Tumsun, right? So I don't say tumsun. No, right? Wujubul ilhari min ghayri ghunna. So I read it just naturally. Tumsun. So here we have a meme that has a sukun and it's followed by a ta. So ta is not the letter of al-ikhfa al-shafawi and ta is not the letter of idgham al-mutamathilain as-saghir. So ta is one of the 26 letters of al-ilhar al-shafawi. So alam tara kayfa fa'ala rabbuka bi ashabil fil. Alam tara, right? We just read it naturally. So I don't say alam tara. That's a big mistake, right? There is absolutely no rule that gives me the right to say alam tara, right? You with me?
Yes.
Now here's an example of what is called, and I'll give you a name inshallah for this exception in a second. So now this is from Al-Fatiha. Now this is a place where people commonly make a mistake, unfortunately, in Al-Fatiha. So here we have a meme that has a sukoon, and it's followed by a wow. So here we have which rule? Al-Ilharu Shafawi. But is this special?
Yes.
It is, right? Why is it special? Because of
One of the
شدة إظهار الميم الساكنة عند الواو, right? So here we have to do, so the name that we give it is أشد الإظهار. So we'll write it inshallah. So not only do we have ilhar, but ashad in Arabic means more intense, more, right?
More, yeah.
So not only do we do ilhar, but here we do it in a much more intense way. It has to be absolutely clear, no shadow of doubt that we are doing ilhar here, right, Abu Jamil? Right. So here, I have a meme that has, now I really want to spend time here because it's a very common mistake that people will do in Al-Fatiha when they read it. So here we have the meme that has a sukoon, and we have the waw. So now we have al-ilhar shafawi. But then we have ashadul ilhar, right? Because ma and wa, they come from the same place, don't they? So let's read this. Let's read it. So now right away, just scanning, I can see the mistake, which is what, just scanning, I can see the mistake that we will learn how to correct. Now I'll tell you why it is very easy to make a mistake, right? So the meme and the wow come from the same place, right?
Yeah.
So it's very easy for me. Now I'll read it in a wrong way, right? Just like a lot of people will unfortunately do, but may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala correct our tongues. So alayhim wala, it's very easy, right? Alayhim wala. So here, the meme, it's very easy on me, right? Because it's all coming from my lips.
Yeah.
So what I can do is alayhim wa. So the meme is not over yet. I start the wow. But that's wrong. That's not the proper way of reading it, right? So both of them, so the meme has to be completely pronounced, and the wow takes over, and there is no unna. The other mistake that you will see is for people probably they wanting to do the ashadul ilhar is they say alayhim wa. No, can I do that?
No.
No, I can't, because min ghayri unna, there is nothing that gives me unna, right? So the proper way of reading it is alayhim wa, right? So alayhim, the meme comes, wa starts then, right? So there is no interface between the wa and the meme, right? So alayhim wa you with me?
Yes.
So that's an example. Now here's another example. We have a meme that has a sukoon and is followed by a fa. So then what do we have? Ashadul ilhar. Because the meme and the fa, they come close to one another when it comes to the exit, right? The meme comes from the two lips, and the fa comes from the lower lips and the upper teeth. So how do we read this then? How do we read it? Kaidahum fi. So kaidahum fi. Now look how easy it is for me to make a mistake, right? It is very easy for me to say kaidahum fi, right? Because it's all coming from the lips and the upper lip. So kaidahum fi. No hunna. So I don't say kaidahum fi. That's wrong, right? You with me?
Yes.
Let's go over it again. So al-ilharu shafawi is our third rule. So what does it have? وَلُهُ بَقِيَّةُ الْحُرُوفِ الْهِجَائِيَّةِ. So this rule has the rest of the letters of the Arabic alphabet after we give al-ba, بعد أخذ الباء للإخفاء الشفوي. After we take from the alphabet al-ba for the rule of al-ikhfa al-shafawi, which is the first rule we learned, wal-mimi, and after we take the mim لإدغام المتماثلين الصغير, for إدغام المتماثلين الصغير, which was the second rule that we learned. So if you take al-ba for ikhfa al-shafawi, and you take mim for إدغام المتماثلين الصغير, the rest of the letters are for al-izhar al-shafawi. Is that clear for you? So al-izhar al-shafawi has how many letters?
26.
26 letters, right? And then he asks, ما حكم الميم الساكنة عند أحرف الإظهار الشفوي? So when you have a meme that has a sukun, and it is followed by one of the 26 letters of al-Izhar al-Shafawi, what is the rule? He say, وجوب الإظهار من غير غنة. Here we have to say the meme clearly with no ghunna, and it is an obligation. So wujub means I have no choice. Exactly, right? So wujub means it's an obligation to say the meme clearly. So there is no ikhfa, there is no ghunna here. Min ghayri ghunna, without any ghunna. So that's why he said, فَطُوهَرُ الْمِيمُ السَّاكِنَةُ. So the meme that has a sukun, we read it clearly when? إِذَا وَقَعَ, when it comes بَعْدَهَا, after it, after the meme, حرف من الحروف الستة والعشرين. If the meme that has a sukun is followed by one of the 26 letters of al-Izhar al-Shafawi, that meme will read clearly. But مع مراعاة, but we have to observe شدة إظهار الميم الساكنة. We absolutely, so here we take the ilhar, the way we read it, we take it another level when that meme that has a sukun is followed by a waw or is followed by a fa. And the reason has to do has to do with the fact that لاتحادها في المخرج. So ha here goes to what? Al-mim is sakin, right? It's because of the unity of the exit of al-mim and al-waw. So mim and waw come from the same exit. They come from the lips, as we saw, right? That's why we do ashadul ilha. And as far as the fa is concerned, وَقُرْبِهَا فِيهِ مَعَ الْفَا. So قُرْبِهَا, the mim, the ha goes to what?
ميم ساكن.
Mim sakin. How about fihi? The ha goes to?
واو.
So waw is muannath, right?
Yeah.
So this has to go to a mudhakkar. So waw is feminine. So this has to go to something that is mudhakkar, masculine.
في فا.
مخرج.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Makhraj. Excellent, right? So وَقُرْبِهَا فِي الْمَخْرَجِ مَعَ الْفَاءِ. Like that's another way. So لِاتِّحَادِهَا فِي الْمَخْرَجِ. So here instead of repeating the word makhraj, we say فيه, right? So the other way we could say it is مع مراعاة شدة إظهار الميم الساكنة عند الواو والفاء لاتحاد الميم الساكنة, right, في المخرج مع الواو وقرب الميم الساكنة في المخرج مع الفاء. But that's the beauty of the Arabic language, right? You don't need to repeat all of those, right? So we just do it using ha'ul kinaya. So that's what we have. So the examples, here we have a meme that has a sukun followed by a sin. So tumsun, I read it naturally. No gunna, no idgham, no ikhfa, nothing. So tumsun, the same thing. Alam taro. So I don't say alam tarak. So Ibrahim, that's a mistake. If I say that, say, that's a mistake, right, Ibrahim?
Yeah.
So here, alayhim wa. So here now, we have a mim that has a sukun and it's followed by a waw. So here we have ashadul ilha. So here I have to be careful because it is very easy for me to do a little bit of idgham. It is very easy for me to take part of the mim and put it in the waw and say alayhim wa, right? That's wrong. So alayhim wa, alayhim wa, alayhim wa, not alayhim wa. That's a mistake, right? I know that because min ghayri ghunna. The same thing. Kaidahum fi, right? So both of them, they come naturally. So I don't say kaidahum fi. So that's a mistake because what I did was yarhamukallah. What I did was, before the meme was over, I started the fa. You with me? With me?
Yes.
One more time, right? The Prophet ﷺ used to do it 3 times, right? So let's do it again. Ahkamul mim sakina. So what are the rules of al mim sakina? So we learned that there are 3 rules when we have a mim that has a sukun Muhammad. So we look at the letter that comes, and then we apply one of the 3 rules. The first one is al-ikhfa al-shafawi. The second one we learned was idgham al-mutamathilain al-saghir. And the third one is what we're learning today, which is al-idhhar al-shafawi. So al-idhhar al-shafawi has what? How many letters? وَلَهُ بَقِيَّةُ الْحُرُوفِ الْهِجَائِيَّةِ. It has the rest of the letters of the Arabic alphabet. When? بعد أخذ الباء. After we take the ba for the rule of al-ikhfa al-shafawi, and we take the mim for the rule of idgham al-mutamathilain al-saghir. So you take 2 letters out. So ba, we take it out and give it to al-ikhfa al-shafawi, which was our first rule. Wa alaykum as-salam wa rahmatullahi. Ahlan wa marhaban. Wal mimi, so we take mim and we give it to idgham al-mutamathilain al-saghir. So when we do that, we are left with 26 letters. And those 26 letters, we give al-idhhar al-shafawi. Does that make sense? So ilhar. So the 3 rules of mim sakina, al-ikhfa al-shafawi takes 1 letter, which is al-ba. Idgham al-mutamathilain al-saghir takes 1 letter, which is al-mim, and the rest are taken by al-idhhar al-shafawi. So ma hukm al-mim as-sakinah 'inda ahruf al-idhhar al-shafawi? What is the rule when you have a mim that has a sukun and it's followed by one of the 26 letters of al-idhhar al-shafawi? So he said the rule is wujubul ilhari min ghayri ghunna. It is an obligation to read that meme clearly with no ghunna. So there is no sound, there is no stopping. We read it naturally with no stopping, and we don't have a choice. It is an obligation, right? So that's why he said fatulharul mimus sakina. So meme that has a sukun, we read it clearly. إذا وقع بعدها حرف من الحروف الستة والعشرين. When that meme that has a sukun is followed by one of the 26 letters of al-idhhar al-shafawi. But of these 26 letters, there are 2 letters where we have to pay particular attention. We have to read more clear. And those 2 letters, that's why he said مع مراعاة شدة إظهار الميم الساكنة. We have to observe that the way we read it, the clearance that with which we read the meme has to be more intense when that meme that has a sukun is followed by either waw or fa. And the reason why we do it with waw is because لاتحادها في المخرج مع الواو. It's because the meme comes from the same exit as the waw. وقربها فيه مع الفا. And meme is close. Its exit is close to that of al-fa. Right? Let's open our book. You ready? Al-Quran.
Okay. So fast.
I'm sorry.
Was that Ayu Surah?
So let's start with Al-Fatiha, the opening.
سورة الفاتحة أيوه بسم الله أجوب وين أنا ما
So I will start. I'll take Al-Fatiha, and then when we go, I'll volunteer to read Al-Fatiha, and then you tell me, and then we'll pick some surah. Which surah did we last do? We did Surah Al-Alaq, right? I think we did Alaq because I remember we did the Sajda last time. So I'll read Al-Fatiha and then you help me, right? Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Any example of Mim Sakina?
لا
No,
ما في
I'm not moving. I refuse.
الحمد الحمد.
How about Alhamdulillah?
Oh
Yes.
So you see, this is the problem. Like Al-Fatiha, we take it for granted. There is no way I can make a mistake in Al-Fatiha or any of the rules, right?
Yeah, yeah.
What about Alhamd? Is there a mim that has a sukun in Alhamd?
Yes.
Is it?
Yes.
It's followed by what?
دال
Dal. And dal is one of the letters of?
والإظهار الشفوي.
So can I say Alhamdulillah?
No.
Is that good?
No.
Ibrahim, why are you laughing at me, huh?
Because you teach me before.
So Alhamdulillah. So here we have a case of Al-Ilhar
الشفوي.
Al-Shafawi. So Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. Any example?
No.
No. Maliki Yawmiddin.
No.
إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين
No.
اهدنا الصراط المستقيم
No.
صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم
أنعمت.
أنعمت. We have a mim that has a sukun. It's followed by what?
تاء.
A ta. And ta is one of the 26 letters of
إظهار الشفوي.
Al-Ilhar Al-Shafawi. Do I have here Ashad Al-Ilhar?
No.
No.
No. Why?
It's not واو or فاء.
Because it's not wow and it's not
فاء.
صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين.
عليهم غيره.
So عليهم right? So here we have a mim that has a sukun. It's followed by a
غين.
غين. So here we have what?
إظهار شفوي.
أشد الإظهار.
No. إظهار شفوي.
So we just have al-ilhar al-shafawi, right? So it's followed by rayyin, right? Alayhim or right? So rayyin is one of the letters of al-ilhar al-shafawi. And then alayhim wa, we saw it. It is ashadul
شد الإظهار.
ilhar. Excellent. So now let's take volunteers. Somebody wants to take Suratul Kafirun. Who wants to read Suratul Kafirun? And give us examples.
You can?
ما شاء الله الله يبارك فيك ما شاء الله بارك الله فيك ما شاء الله. Excellent. So the young man did the work for us. So now let's get the rules out. MashaAllah. So قُلْ يَا أَيُّهَا الْكَافِرُونَ. An example? لا أعبد ما تعبدون
لا.
ولا أنتم عابدون ما أعبد.
أنتم عابدون.
So أنتم, we have a meme.
Second.
Meme that has a followed by what?
عين.
And ayin is one of the letters of
إظهار الشفوي.
ولا أنتم عابدون ما أعبد ولا أنا عابد ما عبدتم. What do we have?
No.
I stopped.
Stop. Not.
I stopped, right? So let me do something else. ولا أنا عابد ما عبدتم ولا أنتم عابدون ما أعبد.
شد الإظهار.
What do we have? When I continued. Ashadul Ilhar. So we have a meme in Abadtum that has a meme that has a sukun. And then when I continue wala and started with
واو.
wow. And wow, as we said, when we have meme that has a sukun followed by either wow or a fa, we do Ashadul Ilhar. So we insist, right? So I don't say Abadtum. So that's a mistake first and foremost by definition, right? No gunna. So Abadtum wa. Abadtum wa, right? Abdul Wahid? So Abadtum wa. So excellent. Who wants to take Suratul Ma'un for us?
still have
Lakum, oh, we haven't finished.
Yeah.
So we did what? So lakum dinukum waliyadin.
لكم دينكم.
Lakum, so lakum we have a mim that has a sukun followed by a
دال.
dal, and dal is one of the letters of
الإظهار الشفوي.
al-ilhar al-shafawi. Excellent.
Yeah.
So what do we have?
أشد الإظهار.
Shaddul ilhar. Beautiful, excellent. Because we have a mim that has a sukun and it's followed by a
Wow.
wow. Excellent, mashallah. So Suratul Ma'un, anybody? Any taker?
Yeah.
أرأيت الذي يكذب بالدين؟
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم أرأيت الذي يكذب بالدين فذلك الذي يدعو اليتيم ولا يحض على طعام المسكين فويل للمصلين الذين هم عن صلاتهم ساهون.
So let's look at that ayah. So الذين هم عن صلاتهم ساهون. So here what do we have? So which rule do we have?
الإظهار الشفوي.
Al-Ilhar al-Shafi. Why do we have it?
Because followed by عين.
Let's do it in a systematic way. Why do we have it?
Because
Because it's follow with the ayn.
ميم ساكنة followed by عين.
So we have a mim sakina followed by a ayin, and ayin is one of the 26 letters of al-Ilhar al-Shafi. The other way we can do it in a systematic way is to say here we have a mim that has a sukun and it's followed by a ayin, and ayin is one of the 26 letters of al-Ilhar al-Shafi. Excellent. Continue, Ibrahim.
الذين هم عن صلاتهم ساهون.
Do you guys agree on salatihim?
No.
Why not?
صلاتهم بالكسر.
عن صلاتهم ساهون.
So that's grammatical, but still, do you agree with an salatihim? So we have a nun that has a sukun followed by a swat. Swat is one of the letters of? So what is the proper way of saying it?
عن صلاتهم ساهون.
So here, do we have a rule?
Yeah.
So what do we have? Mim sakina followed by a
Sin.
sin, and sin is one of the 26 letters of al-Ilhar al-Shafawi. Beautiful. Continue, Ibrahim, mashallah.
الذين هم يراعون.
So that was very good. Ibrahim corrected, self-corrected, right? So he said, hum yura'un, and he said, no. He self-corrected. And that's where we want to get. It is, we make mistakes, but we want to get to a point where when I make, the sad thing is, when I make a mistake and I have no clue whatsoever that I made a mistake, that's a problem, right?
Yeah.
But when I make a mistake and I know that I made a mistake, so I have to be grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for having given me that knowledge. And then I go back and I correct myself. MashaAllah. So here what do we have? الَّذِينَ هُمْ يُرَاءُونَ. So we have a mim that has a sukun, and it's followed by a ya. And ya is one of the 26 letters of al-Ilhar al-Shafawi. Beautiful. Ibrahim, continue.
ويمنعون الماعون.
وَيَمْنَعُونَ الْمَاعُونَ. Any example here? Yamna. So we have a mim that has a sukun followed by a
نون.
and nun. And nun is one of the letters of
الإظهار الشفوي.
al-Ilhar al-Shafawi. Excellent, beautiful. So now let's continue. We will do Surah Al-Teen. So who wants to volunteer to do Surah Al-Teen? Careful.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والتين والزيتون وطور سينين وهذا البلد الأمين لقد خلقنا الإنسان في أحسن تقويم ثم رددناه أسفل سافلين إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات فلهم أجر غير ممنون وما يكذبك بعد بالدين أليس الله بأحكم الحاكمين.
Beautiful. So now, do we have an example in this surah of An-Mim as-Sakina?
Huh?
Yeah, why you
Before that,
before that?
follow whom, right? Do you agree? Follow whom? Does follow whom have the word?
Yeah, follow him, yeah.
Follow whom, right?
Yes.
So here we have a meme that has a sukun,
Sukun, yeah.
and it's followed by
Hamza.
a hamza, and hamza is one of the 26 letters of al-ilhad. So فَلَهُمْ أَجْرٌ غَيْرُ مَمْنُونٍ. And then Muhammad said mamnoon. So in mamnoon we have a meme that has a sukun. It's followed by a noon. So this is a case of al-ilhad al-shafawi. Beautiful, excellent. Any other example in the surah? No. Beautiful. So next surah. Who wants to volunteer for the next surah?
Surah Al-Alaq.
Are we going up? Surah Al-Shahab. Yeah? Okay. Any volunteer? My uncle beat you already. Oh, the other way. Sorry, we're going up. Alam Nashrah.
Can you raise your voice a little bit?
Beautiful, mashallah, mashallah. Any example?
Yes.
So alam, right? So here we have what? A meme sakina, right? And it's followed by what? So what is my mistake when I say alam nashrah laka sadrak? What is my mistake? The hunna, right? Do I have to say hunna here? No. Excellent. Any other example?
No.
No?
No.
We sure?
Yes.
So
No. No.
mashallah, excellent. So let's go to Surah Al-Duha. Any taker, volunteer. Yeah, please. You see, when the youngsters are slow, you know.
Okay, take
Mashallah, he's taking it, and then you take the next one.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والضحى والليل إذا سجى ما ودعك ربك وما قلى وللآخرة خير لك من الأولى ولسوف يؤتيك ربك فترضى ألم يجدك يتيما فأوى ووجدك ضالا فهدى ووجدك عائلا فأغنى فأما اليتيم فلا تقهر وأما السائل فلا تنهر وأما بنعمة ربك فاحدث.
MashaAllah. But I just for some of the brothers who are basically catching the train on board, the previous classes are actually online. So you can go and review all of them, inshallah. You can start from class 1 and look at all of the other roles that we've done, inshallah, at your own convenience, inshallah. So I think it's Assalam, right? Assalam Tajweed.
Yeah.
It's up there. So you can follow. If you don't feel like, if you come today and say, oh, subhanallah, they're ahead of me, you can catch up. Within a week, you can catch up. And may Allah make it easy and accept. So do we have an example of An-Mim as-Sakina in Surah Al-Duha?
Yes.
Where?
Alam yajidika.
Alam yajidika yatiman fa'awa. So we have a meme that has a sukun followed by a
Yeah.
yeah, and yeah is an example of, is a letter of
الإظهار الشفوي.
al-ilhar al-shafawi. Excellent, beautiful. Any other example?
No.
No. So should we do Surah Al-Layl? Who wants to take Surah Al-Layl? Go ahead. Surah.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والليل إذا يغشى والنهار إذا تجلى وما خلق الذكر والأنثى إن سعيكم لشتى
Do you agree with that?
No.
إن سعيكم لشتى فأما من أعطى واتقى وصدق بالحسنى فسنيسره لليسرى وأما من بخل واستغنى وكذب بالحسنى فسنيسره لليسرى للعسرى وما يغني عنه ماله إذا قرضى إنا علينا للهدى وإن لنا للآخرة والأولى فأنذرتكم نارا تلظى لا يصلاها إلا الأشقى الذي كذب وتولى فسيجنبها الأتقى الذي ماله يتزكى وما لأحد عنده من نعمة تجزى إلا ابتغاء وجه ربه الأعلى ولسوف يرضى.
MashaAllah, MashaAllah. May Allah bless. So now, we'll do examples. So do we see an example of Al-Mim As-Sakina in Surah Al-Layl?
Yes.
Where?
إن سعيكم لشتى.
إن سعيكم لشتى. So here we have a meme that has a sukun and it's followed by a
لام.
lam. And lam is one of the letters of.
الإضارة الشفوية.
So I cannot say إن سعيكم لشتى. That's a mistake, right?
Yes.
So I just say إن سعيكم لشتى. And then the next one. فأنذرتكم نارا تلظى. So here we have a mim that has a sukun followed by a
نون.
فأنذرتكم
ميم followed by
نون.
noon, right?
نون.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, and here what do we have? Which rule?
الإظهار الشفوي.
Al-Ilhar al-Shafawi. Excellent. And then any other example?
No.
No. Beautiful. Excellent. So we'll stop here today, and next class, inshallah, we'll do the chapter of Al-Ghunna. We've been talking about ghunna, right? We always say min ghayri ghunna. We say ghunna, and we know what it is, right? So now we'll do a formal chapter on ghunna, so that we have it under our belts, inshallah. And then after that, inshallah, we'll start a long chapter of Al-Mad, right? Which is really beautiful. I mean, all of these are really beautiful, and Al-Mad, inshallah, will enjoy very, very, very much, very much. Now here's my advice. Ramadan is coming, right? Please, with the rules that we learn, the idea is not to say, our Imam who does Tarawih, he does not know any of the rules, right? Please don't do that, because that will take away everything, right? So we're learning it so that we can read properly the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Remember what the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam warns us against. You should not you should not learn knowledge so that you can show off in front of people who know, right? And you should not learn knowledge so that you can show the people who don't know that you are better than they are. So that's not the idea, right? As the Prophet ﷺ tells us, whoever learns a knowledge, and this knowledge is something that you can get the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but you're just doing it for this world, that person will not smell the odor of Jannah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us from falling into that trap. So next class, inshallah, we'll do Al-Ghunna, inshallah. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
All right, we have